Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you all the books that I want to read this fall. So I always love picking like a seasonal TBR, especially for the fall and winter. I feel like those are like my favorite time to read, and I really am kind of somewhat of a mood reader, I would say, with some of these, especially like be like, oh, I want to wait till fall or winter to kind of pick those up. So these are ones that were just kind of giving fall vibes, and I definitely am excited for them. They're kind of all over in terms of genre too, which makes them fun and interesting. But these are books that I've definitely been holding out to reading, and actually when I was looking at my TBR shelf over here, I was like, there's actually quite a bit that I'm holding out for winter too. So these are the ones that I'm definitely really excited to pick up. And like I said, they're all over in terms of genre, which makes them exciting. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, this is a book that is very popular on Book Talk, and it's one I haven't read, and I've had it on my shelf for quite a while. And it is Circe by Madeline Miller. I've never really, it's surprising to me that I've never learned any like Greek mythology throughout my schooling, despite it being like a very popular thing. Like I never learned any mythology. I think I have a very disjointed like public school upbringing because we were back and forth between Canada and the United States, so I think that's probably why I didn't have like a very standard curriculum when it came to like mythology teaching. But this one is a retelling of Circe, who is essentially kind of like the first witch, and I've heard really great things about it. But it says, in the house of Helios, god of the sun, and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Circe is a strange child, not powerful like her father, nor viciously alluring like her mother. Turning to the world of mortars for companionship, she discovers that she does possess power. The power of witchcraft, which can transform rivals into monsters and menace the gods themselves. Threatened, Zeus banishes Circe to a deserted island where she hones her occult craft and crosses paths with many of the most famous figures in all of mythology, including the Minotaur, Dallas. I don't know how to say it. Like I said, I don't have the background. Despite being Greek myself, I don't know any. Mine is like Zeus and some of like the major ones, but and his doomed son, the murderous Medusa, and of course wildly Odysseus. But there is danger too for a woman who stands alone, and Circe unwittingly draws the wrath of both men and gods, ultimately finding herself pitted against one of the most terrifying and vengeful of the Olympians. To protect what she holds dear, Circe must summon her strength and choose once and for all whether she belongs with the gods she is born from or the mortals she has come to love. Again, I've heard really great things about this, and it just seems really interesting. Like I said, despite being Greek myself, I don't have that background. So I think this kind of retelling of, you know, a very famous Greek mythological figure, I think will be really interesting. So I'm excited to dive into this one. I always feel like fall is a good time to read kind of like thrillers or like murder mysteries, and they're definitely one that's on here is the new Inspector Gamache book. But I was looking at specifically books at my TBR, and this is one again that I've had on my shelf for a while, and it is You by Caroline Kepnes. Again, this was a favorite for BookTube for many years, and surprisingly one that I have not picked up because I feel like this is totally my cup of tea. But it is basically about a stalker, and it's told from his perspective. So he's following someone, he's saying like, you were doing this, you were doing that, and that's all I kind of really know about it, and that's all I really want to know about it. So again, I've heard great things. So for kind of like my thriller hit, it is this one, which I feel like is more like a psychological thriller, and then The Grey Wolf by Louise Penny, which is like my murder mystery thriller, which I'm so excited about. Definitely, I think that's probably my most anticipated release of this year, so I'm very excited it's coming out. And finally, hopefully we'll get to You. This was a book that I picked up at my local bookstore, and it was kind of giving me ACOTAR vibes, and every now and then like I just want to kind of reread the ACOTAR trilogy, but I feel like this one is kind of very similar, and so I felt like that would kind of fill my like desire to kind of read more of those books. And this is called House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein, and this is, again, the reviews on Goodreads are pretty decent for this one, and it had these fun sprayed edges, but it's one I haven't heard much about, but it was kind of giving me ACOTAR vibes. But it says, all her life Fallon has been marked by her half-humanity. Nearly every pure-blooded fae at court has looked down on her for her curved ears, lack of magic, and fondness for water serpents. But never Dante, the Prince of Lucy. The flirtatious royal has held Fallon's heart ever since Dante gave Fallon her first kiss. But as doubts creep in of how a fae prince and a halfling could ever have lasting happiness together, Fallon finds hope in an oracle's prophecy. She will be queen, but first she must free the crows. Confused yet determined, Fallon embarks on the hunt that could give her everything she's wanted, but couldn't have: power, respect, perhaps even acceptance, and most desirably her prince. But unknown to Fallon, her quest will unleash more than just her destiny, and when the ancient demons awakens, he plans to have Fallon all to himself. Again, this kind of is giving me ACOTAR vibes, also like The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and so those ones I always like eat up and really enjoy, and this one is kind of just giving me fall vibes with this cover, so I thought this would be a fun one to read kind of during this, season. This one was on my spring TBR, and it is going to be carried over from spring, summer, and now into fall. But I feel like this cover is giving like fall vibes, so I feel like it just fits better. And maybe I was subconsciously waiting for this time of year where it kind of looks like this. And it is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young, and you can like see like that is a very fall cover to me at least. But this one just, I've heard it's like a kind of reminds me, or I've heard it said like the town that's described in here is like Stars Hollow, which has me intrigued, and obviously Gilmore Girls is very much a fall, very much associated with fall, I should say. So it says, Emery's life changed forever the night her best friend was found dead, and the love of her life, August, was accused of murdering her. Years later, she is doing what her teenage self swore she never would, living a quiet existence on the misty remote shores of Circe Island, and running the family's business, Blackwood's Tea Shop, herbal tonics and tea leaf readings. But when the island, rooted in folklore and magic, begins to show signs of strange happenings, Emery knows that something is coming. The morning she wakes to find that every single tree on Circe has turned color in a single night. August returns for the first time in 14 years and unearths the path that the town has tried desperately to forget. August knows he is not welcome on Circe, not after the night everything changed. As a fire raged on at the Salt family orchard, Lily Morgan was found dead in the dark woods, shaking the bedrock of their tight-knit community and branding August a murderer. When he returns to bury his mother's ashes, he must confront the people who turned their backs on him and face the one wound from his past that has never healed, Emery. But the town has more than one reason to want August gone, and the emergence of hidden promises and deep betrayals spanning generations threatens to reveal the truth behind Lily's mysterious death once and for all. Again, I think I was like secretly waiting until like this time of year to read this, because I feel like this is a perfect one to read with the fire going, a nice cup of tea, or if you're like me, you like your apple cider with salted caramel vodka. A great fall drink, a great fall cocktail. And yeah, this one, like I said, it just kind of, I've heard it described as like kind of Stars Hollow small town vibes, and so that one I think was when I was holding off, and I do like kind of the magical realism aspect in here, kind of that's interwoven, so I'm excited to finally pick this one up. And I feel like I'm going to be starting getting back into fantasy. I feel like this past summer I was kind of reading more contemporary or romance, or like those, I feel like I read historical fiction, murder mysteries, and fantasies, which are like my favorite like genres to read during the fall and winter time. And this one was kind of, even though it has like a spring summery cover, I feel like this one will be really fun to read during this time of year as well. And it's When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. And this is one where I've heard it's like slightly coated with like feminism vibes, but it says Alex Green is a young girl in a world much like ours, except for its most seminal event, the mass dragoning of 1955, when hundreds of thousands of ordinary wives and mothers sprouted wings, scales, and talons, left a trail of fiery destruction in their paths, and took to the skies. What is their choice? What has become of those left behind? Why did Alex's beloved Aunt Marla transform, but Alex's mothers did not? No one knows. It's taboo to speak of. And I feel like that kind of mystery kind of tied in with the 50s is in particular, with in terms of how women were treated, especially within the household, and like the role women were supposed to have in society, I think should be interesting. I think it will kind of raise a lot of feminist themes in terms of, you know, how women are treated within society even now. So I think it'll kind of be a very, you know, interesting read, which I'm excited to dive into. And then despite it being, like I said, a spring summery cover, I've been holding out for like this time of year to read it. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what books you plan on reading this season and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.